Okay, so I jumped in at your week 7 vid because it looked like an authentic YouTube video, attractive young lady. So forgive me if I'm a bit out of context, but I wanted to respond to your video. Now, I totally get what you're talking about with wanting to make an entertaining video and the challenges of doing that by yourself and getting the editing right and doing all these things and still wanting to get a message out and do that kind of thing. I really understand that. And when you were talking about making a bubble of protection around yourself and feeling like you're a broken bone and you gotta, that was very interesting. Your emotions are authentic to your context, which contrasts with the limitations of my context. While your context appears to be vulnerability of internal truth, my context is an outward tactical vulnerability. I struggle with being accessible to physical assault by police or even others, as well as being constantly without true privacy. I live outside, having to use public bathrooms, eat at soup kitchens, and carry all of my possessions or expect to lose them. Emotional vulnerability just isn't an option for me, and in fact, it's a threat because it can trigger others to attack me if I look like I'm vulnerable. I totally agree with your non-negotiable rest functions. I totally understand how that feels. You've got all these things to juggle in your life, and you're like, now is the time for sleep. I'm going to sleep and forget it. I have very little control over how many hours I get for sleep, where I sleep, or when I sleep. It's really challenging in my life, and that gives me the perspective to see how it's important to you. I understand that as I've been trying to share what I've come to understand about human spaceflight, and doing that through trying to edit videos using Blender and figuring these things out for YouTube, and constantly over the years being harassed by police, my mental health has had to wait until I could center myself and clear my thoughts enough to get work done, because I can either hold on to my emotions and survive for the day, in those conditions when I'm feeling stressed, I can't function on intellectual stuff, on creative things. It's survive for the day, and when I can get a handle on my emotions and get a handle on my mental health and clear all that cobwebs up, then I have the energy to get through the day, the survival stuff, and think about what I'm doing. Which is interesting because making this video is getting kind of challenging. I've had some difficulties. When you were talking about being a really sensitive person and wanting to turn that into something useful, that made a lot of sense to me. It occurs to me that the greatest thing that you can do is be your own business. Manage yourself. Notice that I said to be your own business, not run your own business. If the business that you're running now falls off a cliff, get your cute little butt up and do another one. You are your business. That is the part that's not allowed to fail. Everything else is an experiment and is as likely to fail as not, or more so. So what if you break a dish, burn a pizza, keep yourself and your family successful, and the rest is extra? I'm rooting for you. The biggest part of self-discipline is to control the outward expression of your inner storm while practicing grace on the outside. And you're right, it is the perfect recipe, because you can channel those powerful emotions to have energy to drive the things you want to achieve. When you were talking about child labor in the cobalt mines, that's a legit deal. That is really for real. And my first instinct to solve the problem is to step back and to improve the mining technology used in the specific mines while getting the children into school that trains them to be well-rounded adults ready for an industrial society via the improved profits of the coal mine. Use the improved profits of the coal mine for modernization to pay for the school, and that includes home economics and industrial arts, as well as all the book skills and the soft skills, so that they can grow up to be responsible stewards of their own country. By the way, nice dog. That's when you need to step back and decide how the system itself needs to be changed. And when you talk about the responsibility being up to the companies or to the consumers, both conditions are true. Therefore, it's time to step back and see what can be changed to solve both conditions. The responsibility of the company is to assess risk and create returns of capital and reputation for the shareholders, which can be in the form of improved packaging to replace old types of packaging that presents a problem, like product degradation or pollution, with re-engineered packaging. The customer has a different set of responsibilities. Theirs is to get the products that are best for their needs, which existentially includes global social and environmental responsibilities, but much more immediately includes tactical necessities such as healthy foods and other household products that affect the standard of living of the family. What is pushing the necessity of the social media company is to find a way to pay for the work it takes to run the company at a reasonable profit under the conditions that the content consumer watches ads often enough to justify the payments for an advertising company. And with the parent's perspective and the 12-year-old and communication and the apps, that portion of your video, again, I say that it's both the company and the parent, because these innovations are so new, neither the company, the parents, nor society at large, and that includes the lawmaking groups, can be expected to know what the outcomes are likely to be until time allows for enlightenment. And you're right, the kids will be faster than the parents at mastering the mechanics of the new tech, but the parents need to guide the children in understanding the problems and traps that can come from letting the tech control you instead of you controlling the tech. The parents can't bubble wrap the kids for life, so they shouldn't try to keep the kids out of the bad apps, but follow along with the exploration of the new arena of life to guide them to know why some things are not going to serve their interests. This is a better way to build trust with the kids so that the kids don't hide that from you. You just say, it's going to be open to you, and you and I are going to sit down, we're going to go through this stuff together, because I want you to see what that is while I explain to you how that could be a real problem for you. Now, when it comes to, brings back the entire argument, like those responsibility it is to the customer or the company to make sure that they're being ethical, eco-friendly. I think it's a bit of a dance, like the whole supply-demand thing. Everything is so curated in a way that it makes feels and choices. Okay. Trying to pick only one stakeholder out of thousands or millions upon which to lay primary responsibility is a futile effort. That is not to say that liability can't exist. Surely a risk to the company is that a court will find for the other stakeholder, and the risk to the parent is that they run the risk of harm to their family or its structure. It doesn't mean you don't cross the road. It means you look both ways when you go. And who says that the companies don't already internally intend to safeguard their customers and their investors whenever and however they can figure out how to do it? That doesn't mean that they always have answers right away, or the right answers for that matter, to solve problems. That is the nature of work. Sometimes the rocket gets off the pad, and sometimes it flies sideways off the pad in 17 directions at a time in an unscheduled rapid disassembly. My family used to tell me when I messed up and complained about it, "Tough titty," said the kitty. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay. Sometimes, okay. A better education for the whole populace in home economics and industrial arts, including the benefits of economies of scale, assembly line processing, and the realities of R&D, would allow more informed decisions on the boardroom table and the dining room table. Sometimes the better way to do things is more profitable, not less profitable. So sometimes those companies, they think they're going to sacrifice if they try and go the right way, but it actually turns out to be more profitable. There was an auto company that found that out. They found out that recycling the cars that they sold in order to make new cars actually turned out to be more profitable. A stitch in time saves 9. It is far better and cheaper to improve K through 12 education than to make up for the poor decisions of society later. All of these issues are founded on poorly informed decisions. Now, when you talk about people saying you think too deeply, keep thinking deeply and give love to the ones that can keep up. And as far as being able to keep up with the energy of all of these things, that's what coffee and afternoon naps are for. Thank you for making your video. I look forward to watching more of yours, and I hope you like my response. This is Darren Marchant, out.